Well, hello, LockedIn fans. Beetle Bailey here with my Mid-Atlantic. And today on LockedIn Sports, we have with us Jeff Higgins, coach of the Orlando Predators out of the National Arena League. How you doing there, Jeff?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing today?
Great. Hey, could you give us a little bit of brief background of your maybe high school and college, and then maybe a little bit of your pro career?
We'll start even kind of a little earlier than that. Grew up in Potomac, Maryland area up until right around the age of 13.
Oh, wow.
I played quarterback there and had Sugar Ray Leonard Jr. was my running back. So that'll tell you how old I am. But we used to watch Sugar Ray, his father, obviously, box at the time, who was a world champion, as you probably remember. But anyway, moved to upstate New York and graduated from Lake George High School, and kind of fell out of the recruitment ranks, so to speak. But went to Ithaca College, which was a perennial powerhouse. Got a chance to play for a national championship and be a part of a great football family, and obviously have a quality education in the process. And from there, bounced around from obviously short little stints in the NFL that didn't last and didn't play in a regular season game, but had the opportunity to go through some workouts and tryouts and invite camps and things like that, and found that game of arena football, and actually became one of my most favorite football games, and kind of just had a knack for it, just because you love the game. You do everything, whether it's run down on kickoffs or, of course, kick return, which is my favorite thing to do. Play receiver, all that stuff. But so played arena football for a long time until 05, and started the high school coaching in about 2001 as a first full-time job. I mean, I was doing it since '97, but so then here we are, 2021. I skipped a lot of things. I'm kind of a humble guy, but you get the idea. So I've been around the game, love arena football. So here we are today, head coach of Orlando Predators, and just kind of, trying to build another football championship. Yeah,
I looked at it. You got pretty good resume there. Any particular awards? I think maybe a Hall of Fame, one area.
I'm in two Hall of Fames. I'm in a minor league Hall of Fame of actually Glens Falls Green Jackets, a minor league football team, where I would come home from arena football and just basically want to return kicks and play at home, in front of all the local community. But we as a football community, we had some real good local talent between myself and a great friend of mine, personal friend, Mike Waldron, who actually played with the Albany Firebirds as a world championship ring there. And some guys from high school, Jimmy Lyons, Michael Burke, who also was in a high school Hall of Fame I'm in. But anyway, we all joined and would go there and play. So that's one Hall of Fame where I played a couple years as a receiver. Then another year, took our team to the championship as a quarterback. And then, in college, I was an All-American and all-time leading receiver at the time of graduation. But just recently, I was inducted into the Section 2 Football High School Hall of Fame up in that area. So that's a very prestigious thing, because it goes all the way back to high school. And for me in high school, it was kind of different. I came from a small high school, graduating class of 90. I had 1,000 yards in returning. I was a defensive back. By nature, they moved me anywhere: quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Probably could have started games, at tight end if we needed, but those were great times. So you always remember them, and so those are some of the awards. Maybe I've been Iron Man of the game multiple times in arena football, and got a Ford Tough Player of the Year award for the Macon Knights as a nominee, where I played 4 games with a torn rotator cuff in 2001. So there you go.
Yes. Now you're back to being a head coach in the arena. I know that's an exciting game. I've only gotten into it the last couple of years. Being a regular pro football player, or person that likes to watch the game in a bigger field now. That small arena is awesome to watch you guys play and stuff. So, getting into the Orlando Predators. Now, as a head coach, are you going to be on the field? I know they usually have maybe the coach behind the offense and one behind the defense running the plays on the field. Well, being that it's going to be Ironman this year, you're going to be more on the sides on the boards, or
Well, anybody that knows me and knows that I'm probably going to be on the field anyway, it's kind of funny. Coaching high school football, I can remember a guy by the name of Mike Cronin. He was like, Jeff, you're past the hash mark, man. I mean, can you get close to the sideline? But no, it's a lot of fun. I got a lot of passion for the game, and arena football is different because yes, your coordinators can be on the field calling plays. So I'll be on the field offensively, working with the offense and the quarterback. And of course, defensively, Coach Stabler, my assistant head coach, will be on the field, with a defense. But yeah, that's what's great about arena football because there's nowhere to hide, man. If it comes towards you, you got two things to do: get involved or jump over the boards. So yeah, it's a fan game. It's a fast-paced game. And it's a lot of fun to coach, a lot of fun to play, and I'm excited for it this year here in 2022 with the Predators.
Yeah, it looks like with the Ironman rules this year, it's going to be awful exciting. Just kind of like I say, wondering how it's going to change anything when it comes to coaching, basically on the offensive defense. Do you have anything this year offensively that you might see and need to work on from last year?
Well, it's funny you say that because now the game, and I'll get into that depending on how much you know and how much you want to know. It's a lot different now. It's a lot different. And in fact, sitting here, it's exactly the way that I played it from 1997 until 2005. And then again, coordinating my first year out in 2006 with the special teams all the way through 2009. It's all Ironman football. So basically, if you can envision it, it's like hockey. It's like line changes. So you've got, just take one position, for instance. Let's take a wide receiver DB. You've got an offensive guy and you got a defensive guy. And then if you start the game on offense, your offensive guy will probably start the game. Maybe go offense, defense, offense. Usually, if there's no what I call one-hitter quitters, those are big plays and scored on you quickly. I don't like those. That's about half the quarter. So you kind of look at the clock, you see how much time is left. And then if it's a defensive opportunity, you might bring your defensive guy in. He'll go defense, offense, defense. You kind of look at the clock. Depending how much time is, if you decide to take the person that did not start the quarter out, the other guy that did start the quarter can come in, but the other guy can't return. So it's going to change, it's going to change the playing field for a lot of coaches that may not know the rules because then basically you have an illegal substitution and the person's going to be dead. You can't do that. But yeah, so it changes not only that, but then for instance, the fullback linebacker position, you need a guy that is heavy pass protector, which is closer to a lineman in size. I don't want to say closer to
I've seen some I've seen some fullbacks, and I just can't consider, or I shouldn't say consider, but not seeing them as a linebacker.
Yeah, let's just be real. The 225-pound guy, it's not going to work. Won't work. And sometimes last year you might have seen them play offense because they didn't have to play defense. Yeah. But you kind of become a casualty of the game if you can only play one position at one of those positions. The only guys that really can do that are your quarterback, your best receiver, of course, the kicker. That's a whole nother species, and then your two best defensive backs are your defensive specialists. So it changes not only that, but now the lineman position, whether it's guard, tight end, whether it's center, nose guard, you've got to find sometimes what I call the unicorns. You're looking for if you find a guy that's an amazing guy that gets off the ball and can really bring it, and he can snap the football. Well, if he can play a series of offense for you, snapping it, oh my God, the guy's valuable. Right. I'll give you a guy on our roster, Freddie Booth, who might have seen last year. He's a guy now that it's going to the Ironman style of play, and in my eyes, he becomes very, very versatile and very valuable. He can play fullback, he can play lineman as a tight end, and then of course he can play defensively. Those guys are hard to find, man. And it's an athletic game. It's a fast game. And let's not forget about special teams because you are on the field now. So if you are a lineman, you're on kick return. Right. So the athleticism, of those positions plays a part. And hopefully the experience of me being around the game will help.
And I guess you have the background also of being an athletic trainer, I guess conditioning coach, things like that. Will
Yep.
that help out?
Yeah, I've been a certified strength and conditioning specialist. I mean, I've been doing it since shoot 98, getting out of college and all that stuff. But I never really started training. I've always trained my own teams and I've worked with people. And of course, you train yourself and work with other groups of athletes that you train with to try to, pursue your goals and dreams. But basically in 2019, I said, something, I'm done being a principal and being a director of principals and kind of chasing, you keep building yourself up and going spots and earning positions. And then you're getting further and further away from the athlete. So I said, you know what? Now it's about happiness. I'm getting back into football, year round. I'm going to train athletes. So I've trained, if you go on my YouTube or something like that, you can see
Yeah.
I've trained professional athletes to 7-year-old girls. I mean, I'm taking a quarterback next week. We're going to Dallas, Texas. We're going to Texas Stadium. We're going to compete in a gunslinger showdown. But if it's a football player or someone that needs to get trained, yeah, I'm your guy. So it's a good time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I guess that the athletes nowadays are training, through a whole year just to, play one sport or so. So it's amazing. When we used to play back in the day, myself, they said with the Ironman, I remember playing tight end, defensive end, kick return, kickoff. So, and we didn't have a whole lot of training back then. I mean, you say, getting in the weight room, doing some things, but nothing like I guess you guys are doing nowadays. So,
Yeah, you know what scares some of the guys that we didn't have this Ironman stuff in the last couple of years in the NAL, but when you're talking to guys and signing guys, recruiting, whatever, they're like, Coach, I'm going to be playing the whole game now, offensively and defensively, and I'm going to be making the same money. And it's like, no, you're not. You're still playing half the game. You're just playing it at two positions and you're playing on special teams. But yeah, it's going back to your point. The reason why I came to Florida originally in 2013 is because this is year-round training. This is athletics year. This is everything of who Coach Higgs is. So I'm here.
I'm sure that's why Florida is such a great place for football players to come out of. You hear a lot about this guy coming out of Florida, that guy coming out of Florida. So
I mean, I can only imagine growing up in upstate New York, and I mean, we would go to the YMCA to train, meaning we would play basketball in the off season. And here you can do any sport you want other than obviously a snow sport year round. It's such an advantage, and it's probably why Florida has so many great athletes coming out of here because you're training year round, you're performing year round, and again, it's perfect for anybody in the training industry or people want to come here to train. I've got some guys that came out of Georgia when I was there in 2001, and they play in either professional leagues. Some have been in the NFL, and they still come here to train, work with them. It's a very good opportunity for people and high school kids right now that might see this and hear me. You will realize, about 10 years from now, what a benefit and what a, just a remarkable experience you have right here in front of you.
Yeah. So back to the Predators, you guys are, I guess the schedule's out and the first game is over in San Antonio. No deal. I guess you don't have any game film or nothing on these guys, but I'm sure you probably know some of the players. Anything particular in your game planning for these guys in the first game?
It's funny because in the first game, you don't really know too much about it, people other than looking at the roster and kind of getting a feel. You're not going to have any scrimmage tapes because we're not going to be going against each other. So to keep it real simple, you just try not to beat yourself. You come out and get better at what you do, and you do it at a good rate, and you stay together, trying to limit the penalties and limit the turnovers. And usually when you limit penalties and you limit turnovers, you're going to be in a good position. So just try not to beat yourselves in that. And, hopefully something goes your way. But even if not, the game of arena football is ride the highs and fight the lows, ride the highs and fight the lows. So if you just continue to do that, you're going to be at the game at the end, be in the game at the end. And of course, the call here and there can help you or hurt you. So you just want to be on the better half of those.
Yeah, you guys got a couple more games this year compared to last year because of course, COVID. So the first couple of games there you get into and get it rolling, get you the roster going and see where everybody's at and make a run for it.
Yeah, I mean it's good because there's talent all around the league if you look at the rosters and what people have signed, and it's not going to be done. It never is. And of course, Jacksonville, that's going to be our last game, going into Jacksonville. But and that coach is no slouch, running world championships and coming back in there. He knows exactly what he's doing. So we're all pretty much, doing the same thing, and we're all fighting for the same thing, the same players. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out, but San Antonio is definitely excuse me, a very interesting scenario because they're a new football team, and a new spot. But I'm all about it. I'd love to see some more teams and that, I guess half of the hemisphere of the United States, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, and look what Coach Rez is doing up there in Carolina. And can you forget about Albany? And oh yeah, I forgot about Columbus. And there's no easy game here. So it's going to be a good season without a doubt, a good competitive season.
Yeah, it should be. Do you guys? I'm kind of interested. I know every team's done a lot of signings here the last couple of weeks. Do you only normally sign players for 1 year in arena football?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to somebody about the history of the league and some things with the original AFL, because we can go way back to that if you want. I got a little information on that, but yeah, excuse me. Yes, right now it is. If they're 1 year contracts.
Yeah, I know most
So at the
most
end of
people
the
like
year,
myself realize or know, you hear these multi-contracts with pro players and stuff, but I've only been seeing like, okay, each team like signing this player for this year.
well, that was kind of with the demise of what happened in the original AFL, and it happened. I want to say it was like '98 or '99. They actually had changed the rules to 3 year contracts is what the owners got, because players would play for a year and then figure out, hey, where am I going to go? Who's going to pay me? Or they might want to just go see a different area of the league, so to speak. And that's kind of like what I was doing when I was playing. I wanted to go to a couple different places just to, see what it was like. But to answer you, yes, 1 year here. Back in '98, I think they had the 3 year contracts, and the salaries went up a lot. There was some other things, medical and dental benefits and things like that. And it kind of became the demise of the league. And then, of course, when it went away, and it came back, you're back to the 1 year contracts and things like that. So, so now you'll see some guys like, we had Donovan Raspberry here and DJ Myers. I believe they're in Carolina now, and Prince Nola, I want to say he's still in Albany. And then I guess they also, to my knowledge, disband the rule. Like if you were signed to an IFL team or whatever the other leagues are, you cannot be signed to our league and vice versa. But I think now it doesn't matter. So you could potentially sign two different leagues and then just choose where you want to go.
Yeah, you guys just had a tryout, I guess, back in the middle of December. Do you have any more tryouts coming up before training camp?
We do. We're going to be in Tampa on January 22nd, and we're going to be there. I want to say 9 a.m. is when that one starts, and then we'll have another one in February in the Fort Myers area, and then we're going to hit. It's either we haven't decided whether we're going to try to go like Miami or whether we're going to come back to Orlando in March. So there'll be some other opportunities, to try to pick up some players. We're always trying to upgrade. And no better to do that than see them in person.
Is there a certain number of players that you carry throughout the next couple of months up until, I guess, is training camp like the cutoff where you have to trim down a certain number of players on the team? Or
yes. So right now we're at 35 is what you can have. You can bring in 35 into camp. We'll sign as many as we'll go right to 35. And if we find players along the way that might be better than what we feel on our active roster, or I say active roster, on our 35-man roster, then you might see a transaction of a release and another signing. I mean, that's, our philosophy. That doesn't necessarily mean it's what other teams are doing, but when you go into camp with your 35, you'll cut down to 25. And I believe we're going to go with a 21-man active roster. I'm trying to figure out the whole international player because I have an international player that that we want to sign because that would give you an extra guy anyway. But I don't have that. I don't think they've actually decided that in the league yet.
Okay. Well, appreciate you sitting down here and talking with us. Is there anything last words for the Predator fans coming up for this season?
I can guarantee you, Pred Nation out there, that the jungle is going to be extremely fun place to be in this year. We have a lot of energy on our football staff. Some great coaches. Coach Burt's come back. Coach Manuel, Coach Stabler, and Coach Hall has been added. We've had some great signings. If you've guys kept up, just check out our Instagram page, and there's going to be more coming. Every couple of days they'll be announced. So some of you guys that are looking out here and saying, why haven't they been announced yet? It's just every couple of days we put them out. So those are coming soon, but we're going to continue to do our best to get into the community. We got some things coming up, and we hope to see you guys out there. Stop by, say hello. Hopefully we see you after the games in the autograph session, and hey, welcome into the jungle, but don't be too nice to them. Let's get ready.
Yeah, thanks. And I know it's going to be a great season. We're looking forward to it here at LockedIN Magazine ourselves. So I hope to see you then. And you guys have a great season. We'll talk to you again soon, hopefully. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Take care.
You too.